Welcome to today's webinar. So glad you've chosen to join us today. We are going to be talking about social proof selling, how to leverage case studies and client wins to grow your book of business. And I'm glad you've taken time out of your schedule today to join me and look forward to showing you really how to build this into your process to grow your business. And so, as we look at social proof selling today, we want to incorporate this into everything that you're doing as part of your day to day routine. I'm Carl Willis, the CEO at Agent Branding and Marketing. And over the years, I have seen agents spend thousands chasing leads. All the while, they've been ignoring the gold mine that is actually sitting in their existing book of business. And so we're going to fix that today, showing you how to turn those satisfied clients that you already have into some of your best business closers. And they are right under your nose. And so let's go ahead and get started. Here's who I am. If you've never been on one of our webinars before, I want to give you a quick introduction and why maybe you want to listen to me. I am the CEO here at Agent Branding and Marketing. I've been marketing online since 1997, back in the days of dial up. I'm a former financial advisor, Series 6, 7, 63, 65, life, accident, and health licensed, and have been the author of the Internet Marketing for Small Business book, creator of the Marketing Classroom. I'm an international keynote speaker on business growth and lead generation, widely accepted as a go-to expert on insurance agency, digital marketing strategy, and I've had the privilege of working with local insurance agents throughout the United States. And so it's a privilege to be working with you today. And anytime that I am training or talking to you, I'm always going to talk in terms of the marketing ecosystem, and today is no exception. And so when we talk about the ecosystem, we're actually talking about this big marketing pie. And we're looking today in this repeat and referral quadrant of the pie, and also your social media marketing piece of the pie, where we're going to look at those who've done business with you and the referrals that they are making through their reviews and their testimonials, and then how we leverage that through our social media, our review platforms to bring in new business. And so that's what we're looking at today in your overall marketing ecosystem and the footprint that you're leaving online. And so let's talk about, first and foremost, why social proof works and the importance of social proof in today's world. Here's what we know, and that is that people don't buy based on logic alone. In fact, people buy first based on emotion, and then they back that emotion up with logic to support the buying decision. What we're finding today is that 93% of consumers say that reviews actually influence their buying decision, and that 84% of those consumers trust online reviews just like they trust a personal recommendation from someone that they know. So you need to understand, trust leads to confidence, and that leads to conversions. So a person is going to buy based on trust, and nothing online builds trust faster than social proof. So what we're talking to today is not theory. The numbers actually speak for themselves. And so let's get a greater understanding of what is social proof. So when we talk about this idea of social proof, it's not just reviews. Social proof is client testimonials, it is case studies, it is online reviews, it's word of mouth referrals, and it's video success stories. Really, social proof is anything that shows real people getting real results using your help to get those results. And so, what it does is it turns your brand from just another agent out there offering insurance services to a trusted expert with real results. So, let me say that again. Social proof turns your brand from being just another agent offering insurance services into a trusted expert with real results from real satisfied clients. Now, let's discuss the psychology behind social proof and why this works so well. Because social proof is rooted in psychology. Remember, people make buying decisions first with emotion and then they support it with logic. And here's the psychology behind it. People are wired to trust what others are doing, especially when the perceived risk is high. And in something like insurance, the perceived risk sometimes is considered high. And so, what we're using here is the psychology that creates a buying decision. And so, it's not manipulation, it's alignment with how people actually make decisions. And so, we want to break this down a little bit. When we're using social proof, what we're doing is we're tapping into a couple of pieces of psychology. The first one is the fear of missing out. Other people are having a great experience. I want to have a great experience too. I don't want to miss out. So we're also tapping into herd behavior. So not only do I not want to miss out, I want to be a part of the crowd. Other people are having a great experience. I want to have a great experience too. And then it worked well for them. I also want it to work well for me. And then finally, authority bias. Because this agent is the expert and it has worked well for others, I want it to work well for me. And others are having a great experience. I want that great experience too. And I don't want to miss out. This agent obviously is the go to expert. They are the go to expert for me. So we're tapping into these four areas of psychology, and we are using those to our advantage when we use social proof as part of our sales process. So, one of the greatest avenues you have in developing social proof selling is creating case studies. And so, let's talk about what makes a great case study. A case study is really just a story with numbers and a purpose. And just like any other great story, it's going to have a story arc. And we're going to talk about that here in just a second. Because a story arc, just like any great book or any great television program or any great movie, shows a journey. And in that journey, there's a problem to be overcome, a pain point, there's a fix or a solution, and there's an end result. And so the before that we want to show in that case study is the specific client challenge that needed to be overcome. And we want to show the emotional and the logical impact of that challenge. And the more specific we are about that challenge, the more powerful that case study is going to be. And then we want to talk about the after. What was the clear outcome or win that was achieved? And we want to talk about tangible numbers. And again, the more specific we are, the more powerful that case study is. So don't just say we helped a client, say what changed and how fast it changed or how much it changed. So, for example, saved $1,200 a year for a family of four has much greater impact than helped a client save money. Get specific, specific numbers, specific time frames. That has much more impact in your case study. Now, we have a case study framework that we like to use here at Agent Branding and Marketing. And this is a 5-step structure that we always recommend you use when building your case studies. And it's very simple, it's repeatable, and it's powerful. So if you do nothing else today, take away nothing else from this webinar, just follow this framework and you're going to have marketing assets that sell for you. So here's the framework. First of all, and there's 5 S's to this, so it's going to make it easy to remember. The first S is situation. Who were they? So you want to start with their situation. Who were they? What is the situation? Number 2 is the struggle. What problem were they facing? So we have a family of 5 or a family of 4. And what was their struggle? What was the problem they were facing? And the next S is the solution. What solution were you able to provide to deal with the struggle? And then social validation. What did they say about the solution you were able to provide to resolve the struggle they were facing? And then finally, success. What changed in their situation when you solved the struggle they were facing with the solution you provided? So let's go over those 5 S's again. The situation, who were they? What was the struggle, the problem they were facing? What was the solution you were able to provide for them? What social validation did they offer? What did they say after you provided that solution? And what was the success? How did that solution create a positive outcome, changing their struggle? That becomes the framework for your case study. So, once you've created that case study, where does it belong? Well, it belongs everywhere that a prospect is going to be along their decision making path. You don't want to bury your best social proof. So be sure and put it front and center of your prospects. Include it in emails, put it in your quotes, put it in direct messages, put it in your proposals, put it in social media, put it anywhere you can repurpose that case study. Here's a hypothetical example of how this can really impact your business. Let's take Steve. He's an independent agent. He adds 3 case studies to his email signature. And over a 6-month period, he notices just by making this one change, he goes from 12 to 22 closed policies per month on average, just by making this one change. More people choose to do business with him because he adds third party validation. Remember, people put more credibility to what others say about you than what you say about yourself. So, even a simple third party validation added to your email signature over time can have a great impact on the amount of closed business that you do. So, again, where should you be using case studies? Put them on your website, on your landing pages, your email follow ups, your proposals, your social media posts. Use them in your short form videos and reels. When you print quotes and client packets, really anywhere you are going to put information in front of a prospect is a great place to put a case study or a testimonial. And if you can get that case study or testimonial on video, that's even more powerful. Now, let's talk about how do you turn clients into assets? Well, this needs to be a system in your business, not an afterthought. Remember, the best time to ask for a testimonial is right after the win, not down the road. And so, what you want to do is automate this process so that your wins don't die in your inbox. So, create an automation that asks for the testimonial immediately after the sale. You want to use surveys or one question forms, and you may even want to incentivize reviews or testimonials. And as much as possible, capture video when you can. So you close new business with the client, trigger an automation that requests a testimonial, and as soon as you get that testimonial, publish the case study. And if you can get that testimonial on video, even better. It's going to have more power, more emotional impact, and it will drive more business over the long term. Now, here are some common mistakes to avoid when you're putting this into motion. See, most agent case studies fall flat because they're either too vague or they're ego driven. And let me give you a couple of examples here. Too vague is something like saved money. That's just not enough. Or it's missing numbers, or you don't have permission to share it. And the story, if it's spotlighting you too much and not the client, well, that's ego driven. So you want to be specific and you want to get permission from the client. Here's a weak testimonial. Carl was great to work with and really helped me. That's not specific enough. A strong testimonial is more like this. Carl helped me save over $1,200 a year on my auto insurance coverage and made switching painless. I recommend him to everyone. It is specific. It mentions actual savings. It mentions the product line, and it gives emotional sentiment to the service offered. It has emotional impact. Remember, people make buying decisions first with emotion, and then they support that decision with logic. Now, let's talk about the tools and the tech stack that you can use to help automate this process so that you're working smarter, not harder, and you're being efficient in doing this. Here's some tools that we recommend. If you're doing video testimonials, here's some apps you can use: Bonjoro, Vocal Video, and then for CRM integrations, you can use HubSpot or Agency Zoom, or Go High Level is what we use here in our agency. Now, in building your first case study, let's apply what we've already learned. Use the 5S framework: situation, struggle, solution, success, and social validation. Think of a recent win that you've achieved for one of your clients. Write that person's name down and really quickly jot out those 5 S's. What was the situation? What was the struggle? What was your solution? What was the success that was achieved? And what social validation is out there that you could build on? This simple exercise can become a social media post. It can become a slide. It can become a signature. How can you repurpose that and build on top of it? Now that we've done that, are there any questions that we can answer about building case studies to make this work in your day-to-day business? Doesn't look like we have any questions, so I want to thank you for attending today's webinar. If you'd like us to help you develop your system and your strategy, book a strategy call with us here at Agent Branding and Marketing. You can do that at agentbrandingandmarketing.com/schedule, or you can call us direct at 888-572-8758. We look forward to seeing you on our next webinar, and we would love to partner with you in growing your agency. Thanks again for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us today, and we look forward with working with you to build your agency and helping you grow and dominate in your market.